In this video, we're continuing our discussion of aspect, simultaneous and sequential actions, and past tense sentences with когда clauses. Remember how we talked about imperfective verbs as squiggly long lines and perfective verbs as points in time. When we talk about different events and their relationships to each other, we might have three main patterns. One is when we have two actions happening at the same time, simultaneous actions. These are represented by squiggly lines. Then we may have a series of events where one thing happens after the other, and these are represented by these dots. One thing happens and then another thing happens. Or we might have a pattern where we have an imperfective action happening and then a perfective action that kind of interrupts it. Let's look at some examples. Когда Аманда смотрела телевизор, Катя читала. These are both events that are happening at the same time, and they're both imperfective verbs. These are simultaneous actions. Когда Аманда посмотрела новости, она начала читать. First she did one thing, and then she did another. Two perfective verbs, a series of events. Когда Аманда смотрела новости, позвонила Катя. Here we have an action that's ongoing and imperfective, and then a perfective one that interrupts it. So here are our three patterns. The first pattern represented by two imperfective verbs, two simultaneous actions. The second, two perfective verbs, a series of events. And then the third is an imperfective verb interrupted by a perfective. Listen to the sentence and decide which pattern it belongs to. Мы ужинали и говорили Алексей. Мы ужинали и говорили Алексей. Two imperfective verbs, actions happening at the same time. Когда Анна слушала музыку, Борис открыл дверь. Here we have Anna doing an ongoing action, imperfective verb, and then Борис opening the door, interrupting with a perfective verb. Когда я прочитала статью, я позвонила маме. Here we have two things happening one after the other. First I did one thing, then I did the other. We can use когда in each of these patterns, but when we might want to translate these, we might translate them differently. So, когда они писали сочинение, преподаватель читал. How might you translate that into English? What would когда be? Here it could be while they were writing their essay, the teacher was reading. It also could be when they were writing their essay, the teacher was reading. How about когда я позавтракал, я пошел на работу? Here it might be after. After I finished eating breakfast, I went to work. Or maybe when. When I finished eating breakfast, I went to work. Когда я готовила ужин, Антон посмотрел матч. While I was cooking dinner, Anton watched the whole game. Finished watching the game. In summary, we have three patterns. Two simultaneous actions, two imperfective verbs. Two sequential actions, two perfective verbs. Or an imperfective verb that's the background that's interrupted by a perfective verb.